Today on my morning report, I want you to hear a little brilliance from Brother Smith. You know, the wealthiest black man in America, black man or black woman, a big Billy Goat.
What I like all things, it's not as easy as you think to pay off somebody's loan. I don't know, everybody's like, what are you talking about?
Who would have thought?
Because, yeah, who would have thought, right? Because if you pay off somebody's loan, either you're giving them a gift or they're receiving a gift, now they got to pay taxes on it. So there's a burden to them or increasing burden to you. So you've got to actually architect a system to do that effectively so that it doesn't create the burden. In that process, what I learned is over 60% of African American wealth goes towards servicing student loans. Okay, you come out, you've got $60, $80, $120,000 worth of student loans. Now you're paying interest on those loans. Something happens in your family, you didn't lose your job, whatever, now that compounds. And it can be decades before you paid off those student loans that inhibit your ability to buy stocks, bonds, a house, invest in a business. You see what I mean? And I was like, well, that's just unconscionable. Because most of these student loans you're paying back to the United States government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. African Americans paying money back to the United States government to pay off student loans.
Crazy.
All right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you also think about that, right? Talk about that, right? So then I thought, well, what's a better way to do it? You know, this is what's the better equilibrium system? The better equilibrium system is to create a fund. It's called the Student Freedom Initiative. We raise money. I put in a bunch of money. And now these students borrow from the fund. Okay. Let's make sure it fits our condition. Our condition often is that we often aren't paid as much as corresponding white students. So let's make sure that the interest rate is below Parent Plus loans at a minimum. At a minimum. And every now and then you have life interruptions. Okay. Well, if there's a life interruption, you know, parent ailing, we got to go back take care of that parent, and we can actually stop those payments in a period of time. Parent Plus, no, you're gonna pay whether you work it or not, and it compounds and all that. So you can stop it during that period of time.
Billionaire with
And
empathy. Wow.
if you decide to go work in a community to be a teacher, like you were, right?
Yep.
Okay, and you're making below a certain amount, but you're doing good for the community, you do that for 20 years and that's forgiving. But rather than pay that money back to the government, it pays back into the fund. And then that fund can relend that capital. And that's a virtuous cycle. Okay, so that's what Student Freedom Initiative is, okay? And it's so that our students can borrow from this fund and they pay back into that fund. They can be reborrowed. So now you're taking care of your own community through your work in that regard. That's what it is.
And
I remember her.
As one,
2% solution.
Wrong, but banks, right, the determine on the profits that they make off their investments, they reallocate that back into the community.
They should.
Well,
Right.
I'll let you talk about the initiative.
But that's the point. It's like, you know, the average American individual gives about 2% of charity, you know, to charity every year. And African Americans actually a little higher. Some people call it a little higher. And I said, well, if you just take that and apply that to corporations. So beyond just the dollars, it's the know-how, okay? So take 2% of your earnings, 2% of your profits, whatever it is, and now use that to enable the equitable opportunity, listen to the words, equitable opportunity in the communities that support your business, right? If you are in a healthcare business, for instance, so why not take that and invest that in telemedicine solutions for communities that don't have access, right? If you're in the banking business, invest that in digital banking in the communities that don't have banks. My community that I grew up in didn't have a branch bank, okay? If you're in the supermarket business, 2% of that to go to providing access to high quality foods, low cost in the community. My community I grew up in did not have a supermarket, still doesn't. Think about that, right? We had to drive across town or go to local convenience store where the prices are 3, 4, 5x. You see what I mean? So that's what the initiative is designed to do, is to bring a consciousness to how you can actually enable citizenry to have opportunity to participate, in that case, in our economy as full citizens.
I almost forgot. I want to give credit and much thanks and appreciation to earnyourleisure.com. They brought Brother Smith to the table, to their platform, to enlighten us, and everything he said was brilliant. Definitely a jewel.